Trible, the Courier-Post. Good morning, Mark.
It's my favorite part of the week, Sully.
Hey, you got a tough act to follow. I don't know if you heard that last segment.
Let me tell you, man, Kevin is he's fired up. I mean, that was a speech. If it weren't 30 degrees out, I would go run a couple laps around my South Philadelphia neighborhood listening to him. I opened the door and quickly walked back in, but he had me raring to go.
Yeah,
and I think he's on point with a lot of what he had to say.
You almost want you to start doing some pull-ups or something.
Yeah, I have this imaginary punching bag. I'm really going to give it a work later on. So.
Get what's your stance on that? I mean, obviously, you've only been covering Jersey sports for a little bit here, but what was your takeaway from those NJSI meetings? It does sound kind of crazy that they're going against their own constitution in allowing these non-publics to play for group titles instead of sectionals.
I was there, and I thought it was. You got the feeling as soon as you got there that this was all a mere formality. The vote wasn't going to pass. The people there knew it, and those who follow me on Twitter kind of realize this. But there were two ADs, or you sit with the ADs. And there was an AD from, Central or North Jersey. I'm not exactly sure. But he's sitting next to another one, and they said, "Are you going to stay after for the luncheon?" And he said, "Sit here for 2 more hours and listen to South Jersey parochials complain? No, thanks." And the other one just kind of busts out laughing, and the two of them laughed for like 5 seconds. I was sitting there next to him, and that kind of summed up the whole day. They don't care. I mean, there seems to be little regard for what the West Jersey Football League proposed, and I don't know what the next step will be for the West Jersey Football League, but clearly it was disappointing, and people stepped up and addressed the issues they had with Bud Kowal's plan. Bud's an AD at Ewing and is the president of the West Jersey Football League. They kind of they created straw men to poke down and get rid of in terms of shooting down his plan that really had nothing to do with the plan in the first place. I mean, talking about disparities in enrollment size, well, these are parochial schools, and some of these enrollment sizes do not matter.
Right.
I mean, being from Virginia, maybe the best basketball program in the country in high school is Oak Hill. How many kids go there? Like 40? It's not necessarily contingent. And then there were other issues too that were brought up that it was just all kind of bogus. And I think that's what Bud said afterwards. That's what was disappointing. His exact words were, "What's disappointing is there's 200 people that voted against their own constitution, so now we have no rules." Basically, I thought it was a formality by the time we got there.
Yeah, you get the feeling some of these North Jersey schools are kind of always think of it as, oh, South Jersey's just complaining again. They're just complaining again. But there is some validity to what they're saying. Is you're a team like St. Augustine or maybe Bishop Eustace or one of these schools. They might have a great season, be one of the top teams in South Jersey. You got to go play a North Jersey team that's just completely loaded with Division I players. They're recruiting kids from all over the tri-state region. Yeah,
and I think the other disappointing part about this, on the flip side, it's kind of unspoken, but really it's an important part of it, and something that I think I've been able to see. Like you said, I haven't been here that long, just a few years, but I've been able to kind of see this from an outsider's perspective, is whether people know it or not in South Jersey who are football fans, it kind of degrades them because their public schools don't get a chance to compete against the rest of the state. And so when the only example we have are, obviously St. Joe had that success, and this year Holy Spirit nearly won the championship. And I think in the grand scheme of things, some people up there probably just kind of poo-poo those results because it's not the largest group.
Right.
St. Augustine gets hammered, and that's kind of the impression. South Jersey football's not as good. Well, Timber Creek, Paulsboro, some of the schools who won our groups, Millville. Millville. Look at what Millville did at Toms River North, who played North Jersey schools. What would those schools be able to do on that grand scheme? I think South Jersey Public Schools, in terms of football, and part of this might be related to the fact that they aren't all going to private schools, which they claim is what happens up north, that maybe South Jersey wins those games. Maybe there is some equality somewhere to say, well, they are pretty good at football. They're just not all going to parochial schools. So I think that there's a perception issue also.
Talking with Mark Trible of the Courier-Post. Mark, let's talk about some stuff that happened on the field last week. What was your takeaway from last weekend? Obviously some great games. We saw some exciting finishes, some games that really came down to the final minutes and the final seconds. Really an exciting weekend to be a sports reporter for sure.
Yeah, and any time there is a championship weekend like that, it's a date you have circled on the calendar from the beginning of the season, not just because it's the end of the season, but because it's pomp and circumstance. The trophies get handed out, and it's always the best to cover the final round. I enjoyed myself thoroughly all weekend at Rowan. I thought that the event was held very well. Hats off to the prof staff and those who helped out. But I thought that I saw Paulsboro on Saturday, caught the end of the Wall game, Wall-Delsey, but saw the Paulsboro game, which was just a great game. And I think it was probably the largest crowd of all the games there, just kind of eyeballing it. I thought, great game. Paulsboro came away with the win. It was exciting. There were plenty of big plays. And then the other game I saw, obviously, I saw you on Sunday at West Deptford, which was, I don't think it was the prettiest game, but, it didn't have to be for West Deptford to win. So it's always exciting, Sully, and it's always good to see you.
Cole was highly disappointed that you didn't break out the salmon pants for Championship Sunday.
Yeah, I don't want to. I knew I wouldn't get off the hook with that. And after he asked me last night on Twitter, I kind of dodged off the internet. I will say this. This was the explanation. Briefly, Saturday I woke up. I felt terrible. I felt great, and I feel great now. But Saturday morning I woke up. I had some type of cold or something, and I was just guzzling Dayquil, anything I could do to get through the day. And then I came home and I thought, I should go to bed early. Well, my alma mater, Virginia Tech, was playing Clemson, and they were getting hammered most of the game. And I'm like, oh, good, I can go to sleep. And they just kept scoring and making it close.
Right.
So by the time I fell asleep, it was like 1:30 in the morning. I woke up the next day. I felt much better, but I was still kind of in the haze of whatever cold medication I had, and I didn't have time to kind of decipher what to wear. I just threw something on. So I apologize. It was a bad. I knew I was going to catch flack for it as I realized what I was wearing.
Now, what's your layout? Your wardrobe layout for Christmas? Is it informal Christmas Eve, formal Christmas Day? What goes on with the Trible family?
Well, the Trible family collects itself this year on the 26th of December because my siblings they all have obligations with their immediate family, their kids, and Christmas is kind of that one holiday where it's hard to break away for part of the day. When you got kids, they all want to play with their toys all day.
Yep.
It's no problem. I spend Christmas Day with my mom, and I will actually work. I'll lay out the paper from home. And then, so it's very casual. Christmas Eve, usually, if we go out or something, is usually a dressy occasion. You just got to do something that has green and red in it. Very simple. Christmas is not a difficult holiday to figure out for those less than fashionistas out there. You find something green and something red and a jacket, and there you go.
You gonna rock the Danny Cannell turtleneck?
I'm not a turtleneck guy. I remember when my mom used to make me wear them when I was a kid, and I hate them. I have a real problem with turtlenecks.
What are you going to do for Mom on Christmas? Take her out to nice lunch or what?
Well, I'm going to bless her with my company. I mean, come on here, Sully.
That's it.
And well, yeah, I'm sure I'll pick out something special for her, and we'll have a good time. It's always nice to just be able to relax on Christmas and make some phone calls to the family, and then just enjoy kind of the serenity and the downtime of it is always a pleasure for me.
Yeah, because then we'll be right back into hoops and wrestling and all that stuff. All those holiday tournaments going on. I'm trying to give myself a few days off around Christmas time, but you know how it is when you're in this business. You're always looking at the schedule. What games are coming up next?
Well, I'm the same way, and the little known. I don't know if it's little known or not, but the thing a lot of people don't understand is once we get down here at the end of the year, most sports writers, they got to get in their holidays,
right?
Because you don't take it, or you got to get in your vacation days. You don't take enough during the year, and so it's. I try to shoot for like the 3rd of January is when I'm really going to get serious. I think we'll roll out our final football stuff. Obviously, as Kevin said, this weekend, and then do the wrestling preview next week, and then from there, it's kind of touch and go. But I'm excited. Yeah, it'll be great to be out by the mats again.
You got wrestling this year?
Oh, you know it, buddy.
All right, man.
I'm carrying on the Sully tradition at the Mat Pack.
There you go. You gotta love any sport that has blood time. You gotta love that.
I do. Don't get me wrong. The Mat Pack is the best.
Good stuff, man. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll catch up with you pretty soon here and get going on some wrestling talk.
You got it, Sully.
All right, thanks, Mark.
You too. Bye.
That was Mark Trible of the Courier-Post.